Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna, Sananda, Sadhenya. Supreme Sadar Jai Shri Krishna. Continuing with the Vartas in English of the 252 Vaishnav disciples of Shri Gusaiji. And today is day 251, Varta 250. Chaturbhuj Das continued. In this way, Chaturbhuj Das composed poems of dire separation. First of all, he had the holy sight of herds and herds of cows, and then he saw Shri Govardhanaji together with Shri Baladevji in the centre of crowds of their cowherd friends. Chaturbhuj Das approached Srinathji and bowed low before him, saying, "O Maharaj, when will you grace me with your sight on top of the Sri Giriraj peak?" Srinathji replied to Chaturbhuj Das, "I will go up to Sri Giriraj peak tomorrow." Urging Chaturbhuj Das to be patient, the Lord disappeared from sight. Chaturbhuj Das sang songs of separation all that night long. 3 hours into the night, Srinathji told Sri Giridharji, "Tomorrow morning, please take me up to the Sri Govardhan peak. Tomorrow Shri Gusaiji will be going there, so please do not delay." Shri Gokulnathji said to Shri Giridharji, "But Shri Gusaiji is not coming back for another couple of days, and it would be better if Shri Gusaiji finds Srinathji at home when he arrives. Let him stay here at least another 4 days." Shri Giridharji replied, "What you say is all well and good, but it is Shri Govardhanaji's wish that we take him early in the morning up onto the Sri Giriraj mountain." They made all the necessary preparations in the night, and a couple of hours before dawn they woke him up and fed him with his breakfast, Mangala Bhog. They performed the Mangala Arti and then sat him down on the chariot. All of Shri Gosaiji's family went with him. Up on Sri Giriraj, Chaturbhuj Das was watching out for his lord, thinking he would be coming soon. He composed this kirtan at that time. Rag Saranga. "Since the day I saw the enchanter Krishna turn, look at me and smile, every moment passes like an age. When he granted me this sight, he stole my heart, and now nothing else appeals to me. Every hour passes painfully slowly, and I sit here wringing my hands. His enticing love God form has pierced my heart, and I am stuck on his lovely gate. And it is stuck on his lovely gate. My eyes are crazy to see him again," sings Chaturbhuj Das. As Chaturbhuj Das sang this, he had the holy sight of Shri Govardhanaji. He prostrated before Shri Giridharji and all the other barracks with him. Shri Giridharji then commenced the Lord's ornamentation and the preparations for the Rajbhog offerings. Then Shri Gusaiji returned from Gujarat at the time of the afternoon Uttapan Seva. He went to sit in his betak where all his children, including Shri Giridharji, came to see him. At that moment, the crier called out for the flower garland for the Rajbhog Seva. Shri Gusaiji asked Shri Giridharji, "Why is Shri Govardhanaji's Seva running so late today?" Shri Giridharji explained to his father, "Today Shri Govardhanaji arrived here around midday from Mathura, thus the lateness." Shri Gokulnathji spoke up, "I told Dadaji, elder brother, to keep Srinathji for a few more days in Mathura so that you would see him at home when you got back from your travels, but he did not want to do so, and we brought the Lord here today." Shri Gusaiji was very pleased with Shri Giridharji and addressed him, "You perceived my mind. I would have been upset not to see Srinathji in his place on Shri Giriraj when I got back." Shri Gusaiji immediately bathed and entered Srinathji's temple and celebrated the appearance day of Sri Narasimji. From that day to this, every year on Sri Narasimji's appearance day, the Rajbhog offerings are made at the time usually allotted to the Sen or nighttime Arti. After that, his flower garland is called for. This has become the yearly ritual for this festival. When Chaturbhuj Das had the holy sight of Shri Govardhanaji, he was delighted. When the Seva was completed, Shri Gusaiji returned and sat in his betak. Chaturbhuj Dasji sat with him and told him all about Shri Govardhanaji had gone to Mathura and then returned again today to the Sri Giriraj mountain. Shri Gusaiji said, "Oh, how merciful is Shri Govardhanaji! He cannot tolerate the suffering of his true devotees." Shri Gusaiji then took to rest. Chaturbhuj Das was thus a recipient of the grace of Srinathji and Shri Gusaiji, and an accomplished loved Vaishnava. Part 10. Once Shri Gokulnathji asked of Shri Gusaiji, "If you allow me, I shall take Chaturbhuj Das to Gokul." Shri Gusaiji granted his permission, and Shri Gokulnathji addressed Chaturbhuj Das, "I have some work to do in the Pentio village. Please come with me." Chaturbhuj Das set off with him. When they reached Pentio village, Shri Gokulnathji told Chaturbhuj Das. I now have to go to Gokul and I have no attendant with me. Please therefore come to Gokul with me. When you have had the holy sight of Shri Navneet Priyaji, then I will bring you back here. Shri Gokulnathji mounted his horse and Chaturbhuj Das walked along with him. When Shri Gosaiji heard this, he put Srinathji's Seva into Shri Giridharji's charge and got on a horse to ride to Gokul. It was time for the Uttapan Seva. Shri Gosaiji bathed and entered the temple to wake Shri Thakurji up from his afternoon nap. When it was time for the evening aarti, Shri Gokulnathji and Chaturbhuj Das heard that Shri Gosaiji was in Gokul, and they were so happy to know this. They immediately went to Shri Navneet Priyaji's temple. Shri Gosaiji summoned Chaturbhuj Das to have the holy sight of Shri Navneet Priyaji. At that moment, Chaturbhuj Das sang these pads. Rag Vilaval. There is a great festival in Sri Gokul today. The gopis are all ecstatic in love and are joyfully singing the dusky Lord's name. Wherever the Lord's pastimes take place, they absorb themselves into his play, whether it be in the cowshed, the pathways, or the place where milk is churned. Day and night the festivals are most joyous, and they spend their time in great bliss. This son of Nanda is the giver of great joy, and his enchanting form fulfills all their heart's desires. Chaturbhuj Das now sings, My Lord, upholder of the Shri Giriraj mountain, is an ocean of bliss. From head to toe he is most beautiful and handsome. Rag Ram Kali. He lets go of his father's fingers and goes crawling all over the place. His ankle bracelets tinkle as his feet touch the ground. Sometimes he smilingly touches the ground with his arms spread out and then moves backwards, swaying as he goes. His mother is so happy when she watches him and embraces his dark, beautiful, childish form. He prattles in his sweet voice, asking for butter, and then eats it like a pecking little bird. Chaturbhuj Das now sings, When Nanda Baba witnesses this childhood play of my Lord Shri Krishna, upholder of the Shri Giriraj mountain, he is filled with bliss and just stands and stares. Chaturbhuj Das sang many such poems about the Lord's Leelas in this way. When Shri Gosaiji heard them, he addressed Chaturbhuj Das. O Chaturbhuj Das, please ask me for whatever you want. Chaturbhuj Das supplicated Shri Gosaiji, O Maharaj, you know everything about my heart. Therefore simply grant me the holy sight of Shri Govardhanaji. Shri Gosaiji replied, Tomorrow after I have dressed Shri Navneet Priyaji and swung him in his cradle, we shall go together. Chaturbhuj Das was overjoyed to hear this. He slept the night there and then, and soon, as morning came, went to Shri Gosaiji and bowed to him. He had the holy sight of the Lord early at Mangala service and composed this song, Rag Vilawal. I surrendered to Shri Krishna, the lover of butter. The gopis came to his house every day to complain about his thievery, but they say, Oh, please come every day to my home together with Balaram and play here. I shall fulfill my eye's purpose by seeing you, for you are my very life breath, my dark and lovely one. Please take whatever you like, my enchanting lad, sweet fruits and nuts, milk, yogurt and ghee. Chaturbhuj Das now sings, Whichever house my Shri Krishna, upholder of Shri Giriraj mountain, visits, becomes most splendidly auspicious. Pad Ragdev Gandhar, Yashodaji says, Every day you come here to complain. Foolish in your youthfulness, you make false accusations. How could my little Krishna possibly reach those pots where you put them? My son is a tender child. Balaram has to hold his hand to play with him. Sometimes they even say that he tears their blouses and says lots of other things too. Sometimes they take the churning rod from the pot and force him to dance in their courtyards. Their minds and hearts are stuck on his lovely lotus eyes, and they make up all sorts of answers, but Chaturbhuj Das now says, the gopis are forever finding any excuse to come to see my Lord Krishna, upholder of the Shri Giriraj mountain. He composed several such songs at that time. Then Shri Gosaiji completed the Mangalbhog Seva, dressed and adorned Shri Navneet Priyaji, and sat him in his swinging cradle. Then Chaturbhuj Das sang a cradle swinging song. We continue our Varta tomorrow. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho ji. Jai Shri Radhe, Sab Vaishnav ko Jai Shri Krishna, Shri Gosaiji ki Jai Ho.